Asleep, Dylan had been entirely human. Now, rain had woken him, and inside his body, something else was stirring. He pulled his blankets over his head, willing himself to sink back into the dream he had been having. He had forgotten it already, but he knew it had been warm and kind. Underneath him, the mattress was soft. Outside his bed, the air was cold and unwelcoming. But the rain on the roof was getting harder, and the stirring grew more urgent. It made his bones ache, and his blood was growing thicker now, making his pulse feel swollen and heavy. His thoughts were unsteady, as though they were already tumbling through the churn of waves. He gave in and sat up. The house was quiet. His family would be sleeping. He was the only one who woke like this when it rained. They were in better control of their sea selves. He should be, too. He could just lie back down and ignore it. His small human insides seemed to lurch and spin. With no room for thought, he put out a hand for the dressing gown he kept near the bed and slipped it on. Then he stood, ducked out of his bedroom, and padded barefoot down the stairs. On the floor below, he passed his family's bedrooms and hesitated. He wanted someone to come with him. He avoided going to the sea alone whenever he could. Once, when he was 9, he had attacked a man in the water. For 3 awful days, it had been uncertain whether the man would live. Now, when Dylan's sea self gripped him like this in the night, he felt a surge of panic, as though the man was still dying. But since then, everyone said, his control had improved. He had been so young, they said. It was 7 years ago, and it wasn't a problem anymore. He could go to sea alone without being a danger. If he woke anyone now, that's what they would say. And mostly, his control did seem to have improved. He had never hurt anyone else, and he hardly ever woke in the night like this, nowadays, compelled by rain. Hardly ever. He grew more lucid as he stood in the cold hallway, shivering. His family, he remembered, were leaving the house early tomorrow. There was business at sea for his parents, and his twin sisters would go too, now that they were of age. He definitely shouldn't wake them up in the middle of the night, then. Maybe he could resist this urge. He could prove that he was in control, like they all said, and just go back to bed. As though it hurt him, the rain intensified. Wind flung it hard against the window at the end of the landing. Drops blurred into one great sheet of water. Thoughts blurred in Dylan, and he stumbled forwards. He was not a child. He could go alone. He left his family sleeping and half fell down the stairs. In the front room, there was a snore, which made him start. He had forgotten that his uncle was visiting and sleeping in a hammock slung from the beams. More softly, he crossed to the door, opened it, slipped out, and gently closed it again. Then he set off, down through the pine trees, to the shore of Loch Ness. Sometimes, nights on the loch were still and wide and wonderful. Tonight, the wind and rain made it a wild, inhospitable place. The water tore at itself in uneasy waves, and the rain drove sideways against Dylan as he hurried to the shore. Under its influence, the ache in his bones became unbearably heavy, and his heart thumped as though it was trying to burst him open. He stumbled a little as he neared the water's edge. Hurriedly, he took off dressing gown and pajamas, stowed them in the box his family kept there. Then he made himself slow down. If he could choose the moment when he went into the water, that proved he was in control. And if he was in control, he would not hurt anybody.